Hey everyone, this is Christian Duke from StrengthAddicts.com. We're here at Michigan Barbell with Ken Richardson and Jeff Johnston. Guys, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. So we're going to be talking mainly with Jeff, but we're going to have a couple questions where we're going to have Ken involved as well. Jeff, if you can get started talking to us about, where you grew up, where you're from, and how you got involved with powerlifting.
I grew up here, Brighton, Michigan, and I went to Brighton High School. I graduated in 1998. I started powerlifting in 1995 at the Brighton Powerhouse with John Camilletti and Larry Hutchinson.
You said 1995?
Correct.
Oh, so you've been in this game for a while then?
Yes.
What got you started into powerlifting? I know that probably bodybuilding would be more glamorous, maybe get more girls or whatever. What got you into powerlifting, the more, I guess you could say hardcore of the two?
Well, I was probably about 145 pounds, about 6 foot tall, and I always loved the bench press. The bench press was my favorite exercise. It was something that everybody in the gym could do, and they loved to do. Everybody always asked how much you could bench, so I definitely, the bench press was my favorite. What was it like
at home? When your parents, your family, were supportive of your fondness for powerlifting and heavy lifting?
Yes, they thought it was a little different, but they always supported me. They are my biggest supporters, so I was very lucky to have a supportive mother and stepfather that definitely encouraged me
to get into it. Cool. And at what point did you decide you wanted to compete? I mean, I know powerlifting, I think it's a little bit different than bodybuilding, again, because there's so much involved, and I think the stakes are a lot higher. How did you decide? Were you inspired by someone, or did you see a flyer and just said, hey, I'm going to do this for fun? How did you get into the competitive side?
I think it took me about 2 years to tell you. When I started, it was about my junior year of high school when I first decided to compete. I was with a friend, and we actually found a USAPL meet that was in Three Rivers, Indiana, and we figured that we'd drive down and do our first meet. And that's when I actually was competing raw at the time and was introduced to the bench shirt.
Okay. Now, how much of a help, or how different is it lifting with a shirt? I mean, I've never put a shirt on, so what's the difference? I mean, are you much stronger, or are you more, do you feel safer? What's the experience like, that first experience of putting a shirt on?
They're very tight. They're very uncomfortable at first. You never think the bar is actually going to touch your chest. They're very awkward when you first put them on. Some people can get claustrophobic from them because they're very tight. But I will tell you, a lot of people, once you get the technique down, I've seen people get 150 to almost 400 pounds out of a shirt.
And what's your approach to chest training? I mean, to really maximizing the bench. I mean, I've seen people train with the plywood. I don't know what it's called. The 2, 3, 4 plies. Some people use a slingshot. Some people train shirted. They train raw. What's your approach to really putting on the numbers on the bench?
I like to use a lot of reverse bands, and what that allows me to do is I hang the bands from the top of an actual power rack, and what they do is it actually takes the weight off the bottom, so once I get towards my chest the weight's lighter, and adds it at the top towards the lockout. So with a bench shirt, a lot of it is going to be at the lockout. So I want to train my raw bench with 2, 3, 4 board, which helps me build a stronger lockout to lock out the bigger benches.
Now, lockout though, do your elbows or your joints, do they get a lot of abuse? I mean, do you wrap them, or what do you do for your elbows and for your joints? I mean, just to stay young and I guess competitive.
There's a lot of things you can do. We're not allowed to wrap our elbows.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of sleeves.
Okay.
Compression sleeves. There's cuffs now that you can actually use. There's a lot of things, supplements, glucosamine, chondroitin, fish oils,
okay.
A lot of that stuff just to help kind of keep the inflammation out of the body. But we really can't wrap them, so they do take up a lot of abuse because the shirts actually overload the triceps so much. That's why you see a lot of tricep injuries.
Right.
With the bench shirt, not so much the shoulder injury, because the shoulders are actually inside the shirt, and the actual bench shirt actually is like another muscle of the chest. So a lot of the actual weight is across the chest panel. That's why the chest panels are different sizes.
Okay.
And
as far as supplements go, I know you're an MHP sponsored athlete. What products in the MHP line do you like? What products actually help you as a power lifter?
I'm really big into glycocarm, so the Bomb, which is a non-stimulant. I like dark matter, which is a post-workout, so it actually helps replace my glycogen. It gives me creatine. And I also like MyoX. Anything that can actually help inhibit myostatin is a big tool, especially as we age. Myostatin is actually something that is very new, and it's very revolutionary, and I think there's a lot more research in that.
And how has MHP treated you as an athlete?
Amazing. I couldn't be happier. It's been great. I get to go out to the Arnold. I get to bench in the power pit. I'd like to thank Joe Mazza, Steve Downs, Rob Luendo, and all the guys at the power pit. I look forward to it every year at the Mr. Olympian at the Arnold.
Okay, now both of you are going to be at a very, very big powerlifting event. Tell us about that, and please, if you could, let's talk about the whole idea of the bench specialist and the full power. And I know that's a topic that both of you have opinions on, and I really want to know, because I really don't know that much about powerlifting. I've got maybe about a year in, just you know, researching it and reporting it. I haven't even actually participated. I'd like to. So talk to us about this event you're both doing, and the difference between the bench specialist and full power.
Okay. We're doing the WPC, which is the World Powerlifting Congress Worlds in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's going to start on November 10th through the 16th. It is a week long. It is actually raw, single ply, and multiply. I'll be competing in the raw full power. Usually I compete in the bench only, but this year I've actually qualified for raw powerlifting.
And what's the difference there, Ken? I know you have some comments.
I give him a hard time. I give Jeff a hard time about bench and being a bench specialist, or quote. Not that I don't respect him, I do, but it's a little different for a guy like me going into full power. We always give him a hard time because when you squat real heavy, your arms are beat up in training, and then you go to a meet, and your arms are beat up for the meet, and so it kind of makes it hard to be a great bencher along with having to pull heavy deadlifts and stuff at the end of the meet. So I always give him a hard time about being a bench only guy, and not to disrespect some of my great friends, like you mentioned, Rob Luendo, who is a great bencher, one of the best of all time. But if they actually had to squat training, deadlift training, do all the other stuff, maybe their numbers wouldn't be so high. There are a couple of guys who have really great benches that do full meets. Sean Frankel being one of them. Sean Frankel is probably one of the, in my opinion, is probably the greatest powerlifter other than Ed Cohn of all time. So yeah, I always give him a hard time, the bench only specialist dudes, and you don't really see ever specialist squat guys, so it's kind of fun.
And one other thing we talked about off camera also that kind of caught my interest was the judging. Now, I know you had said with, I think I got it right, but correct me if I'm wrong, you said it with squats, the head judge doesn't really, he doesn't really have much of a say with depth. And
no, the rules, I believe, say that the head judge usually doesn't call it the depth. The two-side judges call it depth. The front judge gives the commands and stuff to make sure your feet are in position and your hands are in position and you're not stepping or moving your feet and stuff like that. So in that respect, sometimes when you're squatting, say guys are squatting 1,000 pounds, you got like 6 guys on each side squatting down the spot, and you know, sometimes you get some controversy where the side judge can't really see where it's going, and what happens is you got his training partner standing over top of the judge, and he's like up, up, up. Right. Oh, that was good, jumping up and down, and you know, if you didn't see it, you know, you're gonna flip the light white, maybe. You know, you never know. It does happen. And I'll be the first one to admit, I'm sure in my career of about 35 years of powerlifting, I've gotten a few gifts myself, which I'm grateful for, but it happens, and sometimes it sparks a lot of controversy with all the new Facebook and the videos and all the handheld cameras and everybody getting video and stuff. So it's a big controversy in our sport right now.
And as far as this event that you guys are doing in Florida, from what I got the vibe from all of you today, it is probably the most international sport. I mean, most international event on the powerlifting calendar, correct?
Yeah, the WPC Worlds is probably the biggest world championships. There's a lot of people that say they're world championships, but is it the IPF and the WPC Worlds are the 2 biggest real world championships there are.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, for someone like myself that doesn't know a lot about the game, you could have a federation, say, you know, world whatever, but they might only have, you know, guys from America in it, so it doesn't really
Correct.
amount to much, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and now both of you are going to be at this powerlifting, CrossFit, you name it, seminar here at Michigan Barbell. If you could both talk to us about that seminar a little bit, and what you guys would like to see from that, like.
Basically, it's Brian Carroll's 1020 to Life seminar, who is actually the creator and the author. And what we're trying to do is get a lot of people who are interested in strength sports. We're not just looking for power lifters. We're looking for anybody who wants to be strong and actually wants to further their strength abilities through form, through programming, or just maybe even rehabilitation. A lot of people in powerlifting actually get injured, and they actually come to a point where, what do I do now? And the good thing about this is that Brian was actually able to work with Dr. McGill, who's probably one of the best back specialists in the world. So he's going to be bringing, you know, 30 plus years of knowledge to the local everyday person here from Brighton to maybe Canada. We might even get some people from Canada. We might get some people from Illinois, Ohio. So it's going to be a very good price. You're going to be able to meet some of the best lifters in the world here at Michigan Barbell, and I'm looking very excited about it. It's going to be great.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. For Ken Richardson, Jeff Johnston, I'm Christian Duke at Michigan Barbell.